guys, it's Eva or Ivanovna or Lynette or Ivanovna Lynette. If you've ever seen my YouTube channel, well, welcome. I'm here to tell you today about Anchor and how you can start your own podcast. Anchor is this free tool that you can use to start your very own podcast right from your desktop or your mobile device. So wherever you are, Anchor is there with you. Anchor gives you the tools to start a podcast right from your desktop or mobile device, absolutely free. There's so many tools on here that you can use to edit and record your podcast, add music, and lots more. Not just that, but Anchor will distribute your podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever podcasts are streamed. So you have no excuse to not start on Anchor. And Anchor will also match you up with people that want to sponsor your podcast. That way you get paid for doing the thing that you love. And you do not need a minimum listenership. That's right, you can get paid with no minimum listenership. So what are you waiting for? Download the free Anchor FM app or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's ANCHOR FM. Do it now.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Is This Thing On? So, crazy 2 weeks that we've been having, with this quarantine. Who knows how long it's gonna go on. Been hearing that it might be early April, or by the end of April. We may never know. There's updates every hour. Frankly, I don't care to look at them because the news kind of just scares me right now. So I'm not gonna psych myself out and do that. Today I am lazy and I decided to just record this podcast while laying in bed because why not? I can do that. I can totally do that because I have the podcast app for this podcast. So that is what we are doing today. Today I went back and forth on the topic because I didn't know if I wanted to talk about conspiracy theories or something else, but I don't have anything prepared for conspiracy theories, so I'm just going to talk about me for today and how I got into singing. So, I know I briefly touched base on it when I was doing the episode for songwriting, but I never have actually talked about how I got into singing. And, well, I probably started singing around the age of 4, 5. I used to babble a lot around the house when I was a little toddler. Little baby, and I would sing a lot and stuff, but I didn't really start singing until I was about 4 or 5. And at the time I obviously didn't know English yet. Spanish is my first language, if you all didn't already know that. And so I learned a bunch of songs in Spanish. I would sing in Spanish first. I actually remember my very first talent show. I had just moved to the United States, and I only knew Spanish at the time, really. So I sang a song by this artist. If you're Mexican or if you're Latin American, you'll know what I'm talking about. But her name is Belinda, and I used to be obsessed with her. she used to have a soap opera that I would watch. There's a few soap operas actually that I would watch. And so she was kind of one of my inspirations growing up, singing like Spanish music. Because I was only monolingual at the time. I didn't start speaking English until I was probably in first grade. Um, so yeah, I started singing around the age of 4 or 5. And one of the first things I also learned to sing around that time was Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera. I remember I had this little karaoke machine with like a little mic, and I remember every single day, like literally every single day, I don't know how my parents lived with me with this thing, but every day I would whip it out, this little karaoke machine, and it was only a cassette playing karaoke machine. Didn't have CDs yet. So I had this one little cassette, and in that one little cassette, the only thing that it played was Britney Spears and I think Backstreet Boys. So I would literally sing Oops, I Did It Again every single day. And there's this other Backstreet Boys song, or was it NSYNC? One of those two. And it was called The Shape of My Heart. So I would sing Britney and Backstreet Boys literally every single day until I got so good at those two songs. And yeah, it was quite annoying for I think my parents having to hear that every single day. And then in elementary school, I was pretty involved in music and stuff. Everybody takes music class in elementary school. Remember, I would always try out for the solos. Sometimes I would get them. And singing is just something I just kind of like picked up, like naturally. It always came like very naturally to me. I'm making myself sound like I'm a freaking prodigy, but I'm not. I don't know, I guess in some ways I think I was born with the ability to sing. I don't know who I inherited that from, honestly, because neither one of my parents sings. My mom sang in choir when she was young, but she doesn't sing well. So I think it runs on my dad's side of the family. I mean, I know that I have dancing in my background because of my mom and on my dad's side. But singing, I don't know where it really comes from. I really don't. It's just one of those things I picked up very naturally. So yeah, in elementary school, I would sing a lot. I was in choir in my little elementary school. And I remember every year we would go Christmas caroling. We would go sing around different businesses. We would sing at school assemblies and stuff like that. And it was fun because I got to get out of class and go on little field trips and sing and stuff. And I kept doing that all throughout elementary school. I would audition for the talent shows that we had. And I remember I got really like into it in 4th grade. I think that was the major talent show I had when I was in elementary school. I still have photos of me from that day. But yeah, it was really funny, like looking back at what I wore that day, that outfit, my hairstyle. It was pretty funny. I think the song that I sang when I was in 4th grade was, and I didn't even know it was a Christian song till many years after, but it was Home by Natalie Grant. She's a Christian singer. And again, I didn't know it was like a Christian song till many years after. And back in the day, YouTube was already around by this time, but it wasn't like super popular. But I did start my YouTube career like when I was like 9 or 10 or 11 years old, around that age. I think it was in 2008 or 2009 that I started YouTube. Um, so we had to manually burn the song onto a CD, and I remember what a pain that was. But I decided to just buy the CD from the store. And so I made my mom go to the store and get this artist's entire CD. Not just that one song, but the whole CD. And then, yeah, I sang it. Everybody loved it. And then I continued singing in middle school too. In middle school, I was in choir. So the funny thing about middle school is that when I was in choir and whatnot, they kind of had me everywhere. So first, when I first started choir in middle school, I was, so what the teacher does is that she listens to you sing, and then based on your voice type and your vocal range, she'll put you in a classification. So in choir, there are usually 4 or 3 female voice parts. There's alto, there's second soprano or mezzo soprano, and then there's first soprano or just soprano. So I had a pretty high voice for my age. Obviously, I was only like 10 or 11 at the time. And so my teacher heard me sing, and she put me in alto, which is the lowest female voice, which I thought, why am I in alto? I don't have a low voice. But that's where they needed me at the time. So they put me in alto. So I would sing alto for 6th grade. And then in 7th grade, I got moved up to second soprano. And I think in 7th grade, we started doing competitions, EYL competitions and stuff like that. And I was still in choir. So for competitions, I got moved up to second soprano. But I remember my choir teacher, Miss Heminger, and there was another the one that we had. I can't remember her name, but they would listen to me sing, and they ended up putting me in first soprano because we sang a lot of classical songs for competition. And so whenever they would hear me sing, they told me that I had a very poppy voice. And at one point, I got compared to Christina Aguilera at one point, and I thought that was such a huge compliment because I used to listen to Christina Aguilera growing up too, and I still do, and she's still one of my musical influences, so I thought that was just such a big compliment. So they were like, no, we can't have you do second soprano because then you're going to go into your pop voice. And I was like, okay. So I would do first soprano. And you can imagine like the parts. It's not that big of a difference going from first soprano, I mean from second soprano to first soprano. But if you're an alto going all the way to soprano, it can be quite a difference. But yeah, my voice was, I guess, pretty versatile in that sense that they could move me from alto all the way to soprano. And I think it was also too because I kind of complained. I was like, no, this part's too low for me, and no, I want to sing soprano. And because I had a very light voice, and so yeah, I think it was just better off for the choir teacher and for me to keep me in soprano. And so when I would go to these competitions, I would, practice the songs and whatnot. And I ended up getting like first place, first chair a lot of the time. I'd get there's a system, and the way we would get like graded, I guess, or given a score, I think it was a 1 through 4 or 1 through 3. 1 was the best, and I think 4 was the worst. And so I always got ones. I practiced so much. I would drive my parents crazy just practicing around the house, and it was a lot of work. Competition was a lot of work, but it was fun. And I just remember in elementary school also just singing so much. We would practice a lot during music class, and then we would practice after school. And I would take home CDs with the demo of the song and like practice and practice it over and over and over and again in my little CD player and in my um, little boom box. Is that what they're called? I don't think they're called boom boxes, but whatever. Yeah, it was always fun going on field trips. In choir, we got to get out of class a lot and just go out and sing, and it was great. And I think, though, the highlight of singing in middle school for me was when I got to try out for solos, because I remember we had this one girl, actually these two girls, that always get solos in choir, and I never got a chance to get a solo until 7th grade. And there's this one song. So there's this one song in 7th grade, because we would do every spring show, every spring in choir, we would do like different themes. And so our theme for that year, I think, was the 70s. Might have been disco, it might have been 70s or something like that. Something about rocking through the decades or ages, something like that. But it was like songs from the 70s, I think. And one of the songs was I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor. And I remember going to the auditions for this song because I wanted to try out for the solo. And everybody was going. And it was probably the first time that I had realized that after trying out for that song, that I had a really soulful voice. And it wasn't just, my voice wasn't just like pop style, but it was like soulful. So I remember singing this song and thinking, wow, this is perfect. Like I hope I get the solo because my voice is perfect for this song. And I ended up getting the solo, which was awesome because 7th grade was a really tough year for me. Like I've talked about this before. It was probably one of the worst years in middle school. It was a very confusing time for me. I was bullied a lot in 7th grade. I was always in the counselor's office. So this song was very fitting for that time of my life. I ended up surviving it. So it was great. And I remember singing this at the concert. And I did I Will Survive, and then I did another song. I got to do a little solo for another song with this other girl. And I remember for the other song, it was, I cannot remember the name of it, but it was from a movie. I don't remember the movie's name. Or it was from a musical. It might have been from a musical. But I, it was a very like theatrical song. So I had asked, can I do a cartwheel? Can I like sing this song and then do a cartwheel and land on a split? And they let me do it. I just did it. I kept practicing it a lot. I would do the solo and then I would land it on a split. It was really funny. And I remember for my I Will Survive solo, I ended up getting a standing ovation in front of everyone there for a concert. Everybody loved it. Even people that didn't like me would come up to me and tell me that they liked the song and they liked how I sang it. And it was like the first real time that I realized that, wow, I am really, like, again, not to sound cocky, but I was like, wow, I'm really talented. And so I didn't get to sing really that much in high school, because, like I've mentioned this before in my graduate school episode, but I didn't have the traditional high school experience. I got to do choir for maybe like a semester when I was in ninth grade. I was trying to work it out with my schedule and with the local high school's schedule, but I couldn't do it, unfortunately, because I had to be registered in the choir class. And so I remember trying to go after school to Mackay, which was the school that I was zoned to, that I was supposed to go. And I knew the choir director because he would help us out during competition time and just in general in the middle school. He was always there. So I knew the choir director personally, and I would go and I would practice after school. But I couldn't be in it because of my school schedule. And so I didn't really get to do it much in high school, but I did get to sing the national anthem a lot. They would always choose me to do the national anthem in assemblies, and it was a lot of fun. I remember one time though, I had beat myself up for it, but one time I did the national anthem, and I went out loud. I like pushed my voice to its like max, right? And I have a pretty wide, like, not to sound like cocky again. Guys, don't think I'm trying to like boost my self-esteem here. You know, I'm not trying to do that. I'm just merely talking about how I got into singing. But on that day that I had to do this, had to do the national anthem, I pushed my voice to its limits. So at the time, I didn't really know how to belt. If you know what belting is, it's basically when singers sing a really high, really loud note and you like kind of sustain it. And so, you know, the Star Spangled Banner is actually a pretty difficult song to sing because it goes from one extreme to the next. And so if you butcher it, you butcher it. So I didn't want to do it the classical way. I did it my way. I'm not trying to quote Frank Sinatra. That was completely like unintentional. Um, and so I remember practicing and practicing and practicing and practicing just to do the national anthem for this school assembly. And I did great. Like, I was going off. I did awesome. And then towards the end, the like final note, I hit the note, but my voice cracked. But then I kept going. And then I still got like a lot of people applauding me. And it was nice. But then a year later, or it might have been a few months later after that assembly, um, this guy that I knew, he was a grade below me. I'm not going to call out his name because that would be kind of petty. But he came up to me, right? And he was like, "You have a really great voice, but you did mess up that one time at the assembly." And I was like, "What?" Like, come on, dude. Like, it was that one time. Because in high school, I also used to sing. Like, I didn't do much singing, but I would sing also a lot during school assemblies. And also during, we had talent shows. And I would try out for the talent shows. And so I got to do a lot of singing in the talent shows and whatnot. And it was a lot of fun. Like, it was just a lot of fun getting to do that because I didn't really get to do that in high school. My counselor told me that I could have done like choir and band and sports my junior year of high school, but honestly, junior year was probably the hardest year for me because I just had so much on my plate. So it just was not possible at all, but I still kept singing. I would still post on YouTube. Um, and so it was a lot of fun. But yeah, I will never let go how that one guy was just like, "You messed up." And I was like, seriously? And I remember for graduation, they were choosing people to do solos. I think it was also for the national anthem. This is the only time I didn't get to do the national anthem. It was during my graduation. And so I remember apparently there was like a poll going around to choosing people to sing the anthem. And I thought it was just going to be me by default, right? Because every year they would ask me to do it. And so the one time they don't ask me to do it, I was kind of like shocked. And I was like a little bit hurt. I was like, why aren't they like choosing me to do it? They had chosen like 3 other people or 4 other people from my grade. And these people, no offense to them, I'm not calling them out, but I kind of am. They did not sing well. Only 1 or 2 of them sang well. The rest sucked. I'm sorry if you're from my high school and you're listening to this podcast. I'm sorry, but the national anthem at graduation was just horrible. It was bad. And it wasn't all you guys' fault. But literally, I remember asking the principal and the counselor, I was like, why am I not singing the national anthem? And they were like, there was a poll going around and your classmates elected people to sing the national anthem. And I was like, what? No, this is not true. So apparently there was, but I didn't know about it. And I thought it was really dumb and selfish that they chose other people, but whatever. So graduation time came. And these kids that were in my grade were rehearsing the anthem. They have to do it like a sound check before like graduation and like ceremonies and stuff. So I remember that day going to the rehearsal for graduation and stuff. And they were doing the sound check. And they ran through the anthem. Well, one girl, and I literally knew this was going to happen because she does not have a good voice. Again, I'm not trying to be petty, guys, but she just did not have a good voice. She literally goes up and says, "I can't sing this song anymore. I can't hit the high notes. My voice is cracking it up." And I just started cracking up because I was like, y'all could have had me sing this song but you chose them. And literally, right as they were rehearsing, a bunch of my classmates ended up saying, Eva, Eva, go up there and sing it. And I was like, nope, y'all chose these people to sing the national anthem. So now y'all get stuck with them. And so I ended up not singing the national anthem. And then graduation came and they sang the national anthem. And it was bad. It was bad, but that's something else. Anyways, I went too long into that. But yeah, singing has always just like been a part of me. I've always sang in songs. I remember also going in for auditions sometimes and singing. I used to be really into acting as well. And I would go into auditions and I would find out about local auditions that were happening and just go in and sing. And I remember this one competition. It was you would sing locally, and if you made it, they would send you to go sing for the voice competition. So I actually got to sing at this competition. I rehearsed and everything. I think the song I sang was Tough Lover from the movie Burlesque by Christina Aguilera. And so I remember singing it at this like competition. It was kind of like The Voice, but in my hometown. It was local, and so I didn't end up making it. I don't know why. I thought it was great. I thought it was pretty good, and yeah. But if you ended up making the rounds, or if you ended up winning the little competition that they had, you would get a chance to go sing for The Voice. But the thing about The Voice, this is what I've heard. The Voice, you have to go in for like a trial audition, and there's the only people that are there at the time is producers. If they like you, then you get to go sing for the actual celebrities and coaches that are on The Voice. So you do like a producer round, and then if you make that, they call you back, and I think they do another round, and then you get to sing for the judges, the actual celebrity judges. So I didn't get to do that, but it would have been a lot of fun. And I don't know, maybe one of these days I will go on The Voice or go back on American Idol because I heard it's back. Or one of those singing competitions. I think it would be cool. I know they're like completely fake and they're staged and stuff, but I think it would be really cool to get on one and just do it because I don't know, life's too short, you know. I would love once I'm like, I guess once I'm more established, I would love to make an album, like put an album out. Because like my first love has always been music. And I remember before I got into psychology, I think I've already mentioned this, but I was going to major in musical theater because one of my biggest goals was to end up on Broadway. And that kind of still is one of my goals. I don't think about it as much, but I would love to like be in a musical or, you know, just make my own album. I don't know what genre it would be because I kind of flip and flop between genres. I can do jazz, I can do a little bit of rock, I can do opera, I can do pop, obviously, R&B, soul music. I sing a lot of soul songs. I have a lot of musical influences too. Like I could just throw out a whole chunk. Christina Aguilera or Aretha Franklin, Adele. Who else? Etta James, Julie London, JoJo. Who else? Um, there's so many. I'm like going blank right now and trying to think of who are my musical inspirations. But yeah, I have a lot. They're kind of like scattered everywhere. Um, I just love soul music a lot. So maybe I would do like a soul album or like a jazz album because I love jazz too. But I don't know. I occasionally songwrite. Like I've mentioned before in the songwriting episode, I've dabbled in it. I record covers on YouTube for fun. If you guys didn't know, I have a YouTube channel. I think I've mentioned it before. I've had it for several years. Um, and so, yeah, I think maybe in the future I will put out an album if I can find someone to produce it and co-write it with me or something like that. If anyone's down to make music together, let me know. Um, yeah, and maybe put it on iTunes, you know, make a little money off of it. I don't know. I would love to do an album. I've always talked about it. Um, but right now I'm working on my master's degree and that's like my main priority. But I would love to like find someone that has a studio or maybe, you know, once I'm done with my master's degree, go out to like New York or LA and record a demo and go from it. Go go on from there. I don't know. It would be nice. It would be so nice because, like I've always said, I've always loved music. I've always been a very musically inclined person. I grew up just singing so many things, so many genres, and I love it. I think it's something that will always be a part of me. Um, and so, I don't know. I don't know what kind of genre I would put out for my first album. Maybe like some easy listening jazz or like some contemporary pop or some like neo soul, neo jazz. I don't know. The possibilities are honestly endless. I am really grateful that I have a really wide vocal range and that my voice is pretty versatile so I can like kind of like camouflage between genres, but it's nice. It's really really nice. I hope that I can put something out in the future. I really really hope so. It would be really nice, but I would have to get back into songwriting. And so far, I've only written like 3 songs that I could possibly say on an album. Maybe I'll put out an EP before an album. I know a lot of artists do that just to get their name out there. I don't even know what my artist name would be though, because y'all, I have a complicated name, like a really complicated name. And so I don't know if I would just go by my first name, which a lot of people cannot pronounce, or if I would go by my middle name, or if I would go by like a mixture of my first and my middle name, or maybe my last name. But I have 2 last names. So I don't know. Let me know. Brainstorm some artist ideas for me. Let me know if I should put out an EP or an album or whatever. Um, just let me know, guys. It would be a lot of fun to just get back into it musically. And let me know if you're an artist out there, or you sing, or you play an instrument, you want to collaborate on music. Let me know. And we can make that happen. But yeah, music has always been something that's a part of me. I think I'll keep singing probably for the rest of my life. Maybe not professionally, but it'd be nice. I do go to the occasional open mic night when we have a few coffee shops down here, and there's one that I always go to. It's every Saturday, and it starts at 9, but you can sign up before. And I always just go and I sing karaoke there, and it's nice. I wish I already knew how to play guitar or piano. That way I could just go buy the instrument and just play it like that. But till I learn, then, it would be nice though. Because then I could just like start working on an album. If anyone knows how to use the instruments on GarageBand to like make a track, let me know too. If not, I'll just teach myself. I can probably teach myself to produce a track out of those instruments. But yeah, let me know. Maybe I can make a song out of there. But hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I know it was kind of a lame one where I'm just kind of here talking about how I got into singing and music. If you're wondering what vocal range I am, I'm a soprano currently. I'm still a soprano. I think throughout the years I've been working on my singing. By the way, I've never gone to a professional vocal coach. The only coaching I've ever gotten in my life is when I was in choir. That's pretty much it. Had I studied music in college, I think my voice would have been a lot more refined, because you do get that classical training, which I love, and it's really good because you learn the proper techniques. My technique's pretty okay now. It's pretty good. I've listened to my voice from like a year ago to now, and it's a lot more resonant, a lot more versatile. I have a lot more control of my voice now than before. I do have a pretty loud voice and a pretty distinctive voice. So I remember in choir, the teacher would always tell me to like, not lip sing, but like, she told me to like sing softly. And it was really hard for me to do because I had such a loud voice and I had such a big problem with like blending in. But now I don't. Like now I'm able to sing softly and I can blend in pretty well. I can harmonize pretty well. Oh my God, I'm just literally just hyping myself up. But I love music so much. I love singing. I don't think I'll ever stop doing it. Hopefully if I have a child one day, they inherit my singing ability. I have a sister also that sings, and she's amazing. Like, she has a really soulful voice, but she never wants to collaborate with me. Maybe one of these days I'll come on this podcast and like sing a little bit, and I'll have her like sing with me or something. But till then, you guys will just have to go on my YouTube channel and just listen on there. So yeah, my vocal range is soprano as of right now. I think I'm not a am I a lyric soprano? I don't know, because in certain parts of my voice it sounds really light, and then in certain parts it sounds really heavy. So I don't know if I'm a lyric soprano or just a light lyric soprano or just a lyric soprano, or if I'm a full soprano, full lyric soprano. I don't know what I am. If you know what I am, if you have listened to any of my videos of me singing, let me know what kind of like sub voice I am, because I know I'm definitely a soprano. If you're a music major, comment your thoughts on the show notes. Let me know. Leave me a voice message. Let me know. What do you think? But with that, guys, I hope y'all are staying safe. I hope y'all are making the most out of your quarantine. I know it's getting boring out there. We're running out of ideas. But we gotta stay alive, guys. We gotta stay alive. So with that in mind, once again, like I've mentioned it in previous episodes, but I have a phone number for this podcast. So if you guys ever want to call it and leave me a voice message, you can do that. And the number is 956 278 0720. The number is 956 278 0720. Once again, 956 278 0720. I forgot to mention when I was talking about musical influences. Oh, yeah. So, like, this little inside joke that my friends and I have, because I'm always singing around my friends, and they're quite musical as well. My friend Randy's always like comparing me to like Mariah Carey, because I'll take a song, and let's say it's like a worship song or something like that, and like, let's say the key that it's in is fine, but sometimes I like to go above and beyond and just like make the key of the song like 2 or 3 octaves higher, just for fun. I like to sing high notes for fun. And he's always comparing me to Mariah Carey. And sometimes I'm able to do like whistle notes. If you don't know what a whistle note is, it's basically like the kind of like squeaking, whistly type of sound that Mariah Carey makes. If you ever listen to, okay, a good example, if you want to know what a whistle note is, listen to Emotions by Mariah Carey, and listen to Loving You by Minnie Riperton, and both of those are really good examples of whistle notes. I can occasionally do the whistle notes. Surprisingly, when I get laryngitis, I can do whistle notes really well when I sing. It's really hard to do it in my regular like state of voice, but it's something that I'm always working on improving. But yeah, guys, I hope y'all are staying safe. Leave me a voice message, a voicemail at, one more time, I will repeat the number, 956-278-0720. You can also text that number, I believe, so that's also great. If you want me to have a Twitter for this account, let me know. Y'all can leave like topic suggestions on there too. If I make a Twitter for this account, for this podcast, let me know how y'all are doing. If you want to just leave me a regular voice message, there's also a link in the show notes to leave a voice message directly to the podcast website. You can also do that. If you're interested in the covers I've put out, I have a YouTube channel. I will leave that below in the show notes. I will leave a bunch of links down in the show notes if you are interested. But yeah, I hope you guys are making the most of the situation. It's tough, but we will get through it. And as always, go forth, prosper, and God bless. Bye, guys.